Hello, my name is Karen Fifield, and today I'll be providing an overview for borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD. There are some biological and environmental influences that factor into the makeup of the disorder. In 1938, a psychoanalyst named Adolf Stern coined the term borderline, meaning they were on the border between psychoses and neuroses. The term is probably a product of its time, and may not have meant to endure till today. Borderline personality disorder is in the DSM under F60.3 with these 9 criteria. Frantic efforts to avoid abandonment, either real or imagined, an intense, unstable relationship with people, characterized between extremes of idealization and devaluation. So he's the best, oh, he's the worst. A pattern of identity disturbances. So unstable self-image, they won't really have a sense of who they really are. And impulsivity, tendency to buy things impulsively or bingy or reckless driving, sometimes engaging in illicit activities or risky sexual behaviors. Number 5, there's recurrent suicidal ideation. Either physically they'll harm themselves or they'll talk about harming themselves. Number 6 is an instability and a mood swinging back and forth like a pendulum, extreme anxiety, and then irritability that might last a few hours or a few days. They also exhibit chronic feelings of emptiness. Number 8, they will often have inappropriate and intense bouts of anger. And number 9, a lot of stress-related paranoia. They'll think about this person is talking ill of me or making everybody against me. Often they'll have exhibited extremes of fear of abandonment, and then they'll tack on the evidence through these other 8 or 9 symptoms. There are some genetic predispositions that is still being studied. There are some neurological factors which are also being studied. Some of the psychological influences are researching abuse, neglect, trauma, PTSD. They often look at the community or the environment in which the child is raised. There's often actual abandonment as a young person. It often will affect people's relationships because you have a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation. You don't know what you're going to get that day. I've heard it compared to being in a relationship with an alcoholic or someone using substances. Often you'll expect them to be a certain way because yesterday was great, and then the next day the pendulum will swing. Often the difficulty of having stable work is due to impulsivity and making difficult decisions for your coworkers. So you're forcing your coworkers to navigate your personality, and often leads to dysfunction in the workplace. Some of the best practices to diagnose BPD are number 1, clinical interviews, and then having some behavioral observations. And then you might get collateral information, interview people that have known them for some time, and definitely rule out, are they using substances? That may affect their ability to have regulation in their lives. There are a few screening tests that are widely used. The McLean screening instrument for borderline personality disorder. It's an effective tool and able to quickly find out through self-assessment whether or not they qualify under these symptoms. There are other screenings, interviewing, observation, and ultimately asking their friends and family what some of the challenges have been. Often people will be able to report these symptoms. In a book I'm reading right now called How to Walk on Eggshells, it refers to people as being emotional burn victims that have BPD. Everything is incredibly sensitive and incredibly painful. So there are a lot of research proposals going on for BPD. The number 1 thing people or studies have suggested is mindfulness techniques, cognitive behavioral therapy, and dialectical behavioral therapy, making journaling and trying to lower stress levels so that you can ground yourself. ultimately what people are seeking is order in the disorder area and function in the dysfunction area. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.